this is really important to me, knowing where I came from, because knowing like obviously black folks came from, you know, slavery, and we don't have our real last names. Our names are not based on like where we come from. I've always been inspired by names from different cultures like the Samoan or Native American cultures, where names have so much meaning and depth behind them, and I've always wanted to have significant meaning behind my kids' names. With our first child, it was a given that we were going to name her Madeline, after Charlotte's sister who passed away. Her middle name Parker, which came from our granny, and Thompson obviously is our family's name. When thinking of a name for baby number 2, I want him or her to have a name with significance from his or her culture and background, while also incorporating our family history and our faith. When thinking about all these things, I knew I needed to learn more about where Charlotte and I came from.
I have to fill this up all the way to the black line. That's a lot of spit. You have to put this on YouTube?
Oh, that's so nasty.
Look at all the bubbles. Okay, I think I got it now.
That's it?
What are you doing?
I'm looking at our ancestry results. Want to sit down? How you feeling this morning?
Tired. Ow.
Your stomach still feeling tight? I've been thinking about what we really want to name the baby. I want to make sure that we name the baby something that like is meaningful. And I know like obviously some of the stuff that I am, like I don't think we're going to name our baby like an English, Wales, Northwestern European name,
An
right?
Irish name? Well, I guess I'm Irish.
Are you Irish? How much percentage of Irish are you?
50% Philippines. Like, duh, I am.
You're literally like half Filipino, like
I know.
50%.
Yeah.
But the other 50% is like these different mixes of like white races.
European. Yeah, I'm
European
literally
races.
just like Filipino and European, and that's it.
Would you ever think that I was 4% Irish? When I saw that I was Irish, it didn't shock me because I had like red hair in my beard, you know? And I always was wondering where it came from.
You got a lot of English in you.
Yeah.
Cedric's an English name.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Really? So when it comes to like you being like Asian or half Asian and half white, and then obviously like it's hard because I'm black, right? And I just know myself as black. Most black folks, we have names that are like not necessarily like, you know what I'm saying, our culture. I want to have a name for our child that's like has to do with our culture, right? But I don't think you want to name name our baby like something like Filipino, right?
Well, the thing about Filipino names is like the Spanish came over to the Philippines. So a lot of the names came from like Spanish culture. My grandma's maiden last name is De Los Reyes.
That sounds like that's
Yeah,
Spanish.
it is. For me, like I want the name to have meaning and purpose, but it's not so much about like our origins.
The thing that's tough for me is like when I think about like being like 36 Benin and Togo, 31% Cameroon, 11% English, 10% Ivory Coast, Irish and Mali and Norway and Nigeria and all that stuff. It's like I would be crazy to like name my child like a name that's like from Togo, right? Like it's who I am in my blood, but it's not who I am like growing up and the experiences that I had. Obviously I'm not gonna name my kid like Compton or like Inglewood, you know what I'm saying?
No, there's some names. I'm just kidding.
You know what I'm saying though?
No,
Like,
I hear you. Like for me, it's like obviously places, experiences, people that have been impactful in our lives, the meaning of the name. Like, you know how each name has a meaning. Like Charlotte means little womanly one. Madeline means magnificent, like stuff like that. But then also you got to think about the balance of the name, because like the last name's Thompson, which is pretty like it's nothing, it's not too spicy. So then you got to add a little extra spice on the first name, you know, because if you just have like Sue Thompson, like how many Sue Thompsons are there out there? Names are just so complicated to me because we're coming together and building our own family, but like we have different roots. And it's like we want to incorporate those roots, while still adding our own thing to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to think about yelling the name out. You know, like, Madeline Parker Thompson, get your butt over here.
What?
Because you got to think about, like, the whole flow, you know? Madeline Parker. No.
Don't be yelling at my kids.
Whatever, it's gonna be you, not me. Like,
so do you think it's even like really important? Because like now that I'm like looking at our ancestry results, you're half Filipino and your other half is just European. I'm African American, but I have a bunch of different like African regions and cultures. But I'm also like Irish too, so it's like I don't really feel like it's that important for me personally to worry about like naming our child something after like where like, you know, where my bloodline comes from.
Sure. Well, I feel like if you're really connected to that piece of you, then I think it's important. For us, not that we don't feel connected, but there may not be as strong of like an influence in our lives by it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's more significant to think about like our experiences and the people in our life versus like the countries that our ancestors came from.
Like this is really important to me knowing where I came from, because knowing like obviously black folks came from, you know, slavery, and we don't have our real last names. We don't have like our real, you know, not real, we have real first names, but our names are not based on like where we come from. When I think about like where my bloodline comes from, I don't really think I really care to like put that in our kids' names, but I think it is important whether that's in our household or, you know, in their rooms, or the way that we teach them like, you know, where they come from, where their roots come from. Cause I didn't know much about my roots growing up. You know, we just did this ancestry test a couple of years ago and like had the results. And now that we're having kids, I just know how important it is to let them know where they come from. But more importantly, how we raise them and stuff is what's most important, what we teach them. And I don't know, maybe a trip to the Philippines and Africa would be dope. You know what I'm saying? Cause that'd be huge for us to open up our eyes.
Yeah, we've never been there.
Yeah.
So like, for us to even go there and then eventually one day take our kids there too. Because like I really want to go to the Philippines and like see where my grandparents grew up. And obviously it's changed since they grew up, but like that's really important to me. So I think it's important to like explore that and dive deeper into that. But I don't know that like for the names of our kids that it's as significant as like people, like I keep saying, like the people and experiences and whatever that have shaped us.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was just in here just looking at this, and I know you gotta get going. So.
But can you come up with some more names that you like?
Yeah.
Can you get the app so we can swipe?
Sure.
We only got a couple of weeks. We gotta have names.
Okay, I'll look.
The name is so hard.
I mean, we got one name for sure.
We have one name maybe.
We have one name 100%.
We have one name maybe.
You want to name our daughter this, right? And it's a country in Italy.
Well,
right?
It's not a country in Italy.
Well, it's a
region in Italy.
Sure, it's a region in Italy, and you're not Italian, right? But that name has to do with you going there and you loving it, right? So that doesn't have to do with our culture, but it has to do with an experience that you had. So I'm trying to figure out, like, when I think about the names, I think of like, we're gonna have a mixed child. We want the child to have a name that's meaningful. And for me, like for you, example is a perfect example for you is like the whole like Italy thing. For me, it's like, I like some biblical names, but biblical names are like tough.
Even the other girl name is Italian.
It is? Which one is it?
The one that we're thinking right now?
The one that starts with